period. On my black, brown, and indigenous. Gotta holler if you really feeling this. Gotta holler if you really real enough. Other rappers is delirious. Yeah, it's really that serious. Better holler if you really feeling me. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna live in abundance. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna. I gotta keep it 100. We gotta stop all the stunting. You know we coming from nothing. Yo, you talking about money, you bluffing. We gotta do something different. We gotta change how we live in. We gotta do better for women. We gotta do better for children. We gotta listen to victims, whether Jewish or Muslim or Christian. It doesn't matter your religion. You gotta stand against the system, or else you just another villain. How you just sitting there chilling?
Ladies and gentlemen, all people of peace, all people of the world, I want to thank everybody for coming out to listening to this. About time you hear this recording, I hope that you check out the past interviews as well too. A lot of great conversation. And we're going to keep that conversation going, especially talking about Palestine, and also talking about oppressed people, and also having a conversation of how we can literally come together as a people and settle our differences. These are the type of things that we want to continue to keep having conversations on this show. And huge shout out to the Instagram following on 2,000 followers. Thank you guys so much for that milestone, and everybody that has been supporting, so we can continue to keep this show going. It's really because of the support of the local community and why I am able to be privileged with such a platform. So I want to thank everybody ahead of time. So I have another guest. This man is a great community for the streets. Like all I heard from people that I've never even met, like they was locked up or something. They said, yo, yeah, that dude Fahd, he was a great guy. Like I hear things all the time about this brother. This is how I know that he does great work, and I wanted to get him on the show. I'm very honored to have him on the show. So let's bring him right on. Without further ado, this good brother right here, Fahd.
Yes. How you doing, good brother? Everything all right?
Yeah, everything's good, man. Everything's good over here, brother. It's so great to have you on the show, man.
yes. I actually, I was supposed to go do something today. Like I usually like to work out this and that, but I said this is something I wanted to really take my time and really to do whatever I could do to stand up for any oppressed people. I don't know if you want me to start with an intro, or you're just gonna
definitely introduce yourself, so my audience could get to know about you, just like what you do.
Sure.
And because there's a lot that you do, and I knew you for a few years now, and I'm very privileged to know you.
Sure. So my name is Fahd Syed. I'm a well-known activist. I'm definitely a freedom fighter. After 9/11, I started being a victim of hate crimes. Yeah, I was in corrections, and I was seeing them, how they were mistreating people, and particularly of color. And I understood racism, whether they were Muslim, Christian, whatever they were. I just didn't want no one to be targeted based on their race, religion, ethnicity. I started hitting the streets after Donald Trump started to speak a lot of his stuff. It kind of gave me flashback of a lot of the officers that used to speak the same way within this white supremacist language. So I said, enough is enough. I couldn't take it no more. We need to free these chains. So I became a well-known activist, leading the last maybe 15 years, some of the largest protests within Connecticut and even out of Connecticut, on conversation calls with national leaders, whether it's the Women March, or it's Black Lives Matter, or it's with the Council on American Islamic Relations. So I've been out there. I've been fighting for human rights. I retired not too long ago from corrections as a captain. Wow. Yes, and now I'm the director of the halfway house. And the reason why I took that job and during the interview was to save people's lives. Nothing more, nothing less. when people come home, I want to make sure they stay on the right path.
Mm. That's really, really dope, man. And I want to remember a day in Exit 8 where I heard you speak. It was a mosque that was that was attacked, that was on fire, and there was a huge rally in solidarity with that mosque. I actually lived behind that mosque when it happened, and I remember how the community responded on in that area, and then I heard you speak as well too. I was there with my comrades, and that was a very, very powerful speeches you give, just blatantly calling out white supremacy, like you just no types of holes bounds, like you're just like going right at the actual crust the situation.
Yes, yes. So I do recall that. It was, we heard a mosque was on fire, that caught on fire. To this day, I'm not quite sure who did it or who didn't, but it wouldn't surprise me if it
Mm.
was behind white supremacy. But however, we plotted that all, very quickly with that amount of people. We had a lot of those people, the political folks, they come out, so on and so forth. Where back then it was good to fight for Islam and the Muslims because it was politically right. You know, I don't know what their intentions are these days, but yeah, I know back then they stood with us. Yeah, I'm not afraid to speak up. Even today, I'll be walking all around with my Palestinian gear. I got a huge flag in front of my house. I'll go to the gym and I got my flags on the treadmill. You know,
Mm.
and I'm well known and people respect me, and a lot of people come up and shake my hands for for saying something where they might think it, but I'm actually saying it and I'm really saying it.
Yeah, yeah, man, definitely. So can you speak on because I haven't been around in the past 4 or 5 days, um and there's been a lot of things that's going on that I want to get your opinion on. My girlfriend was sick, so that's why people that wonder, oh, why you have been around? I haven't been around because my girlfriend was really, really sick, and you gotta take care of home first before anything. Um, so there was, let's start with today. There was a ruling that came out from the International Court of Justice, where South Africa and also Egypt is a part of this suit as well too. They recently got a part of it. They ruled for Bibi Netanyahu to halt his invasion plans into Rafah. Um, I think the question is, we live in America. We know how the system works. Do you think that this is going to be a huge ground change now that you have an ICC warrant that's being applied for, and then you also have a ruling from the International Court of Justice that is also asking for a halt. They didn't say ceasefire; they said halt. I just
Yeah,
was
yeah.
wondering what's your response to that.
So my response with the whole is just a play of words. Like a lot of these political people within our state or around the world, they was like, oh yeah, Hamas ain't voting for a ceasefire, this and that. No, they're saying they don't want to pause. You guys are playing with this 6 weeks things. They want a complete ceasefire, you know, and they want their hostages too. But what I would say
Mm,
is, and what I would say to that is, Netanyahu is a war criminal. He deserves to go to prison, but he's hungry for blood. He just wants to slaughter innocent men, women, children in Palestine. He doesn't care what Egypt says. He doesn't care what South Africa says. And even Biden himself said it was going to be a red line if he went into Rafah, right? But what happened to the red line? It's all political games.
yeah.
People are looking for votes. It's all BS. Well, they could say whatever they want, but whether we see in our generation or next generations, our kids will be looking at this and they would all know that this guy should have been indicted. And I believe that we would see an indictment on Netanyahu and his goons.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you see them like having their tail behind their, like catching their tail, whatever their expression is. Thought I had a good expression here, but you see how nervous they are. The Likud party itself, and the U.S. again, just like how you mentioned in the past about what Muslim people have been through in this country just after 9/11. You see that the ICC was wanting to go after George Bush, and they were threatened with sanctions. And I think a lot of them did get sanctions at that time. And you're kind of seeing that same hostility now towards the ICC now, with Biden himself even saying there's no genocide happening at all. But it's easy for these Zionist thinking people to say that Hamas is committing genocide and not looking at the legal terms of how that has to be investigated. They can just say it off the back. But all of a sudden to say that Israel's not committing genocide, and when there's literally actual evidence and there's a court system that says it's plausible that there is genocide going on, that for a president to even say that, how does the Muslim community feel about Biden at this point? I know that there was a uncommitted, but I would love to hear your thoughts on it, because I know that you got to air.
So the Muslim community and many people that I know within the Muslim community are those people that stand out for Biden. We think he's a terrible man. He's the person who's responsible for slaughtering innocent, close to 40,000 people right now. He has blood on his hands, and we all know Biden's a liar. However it flows. I mean, at one point he said there would be no ceasefire, and then all of a sudden he's seen what happened in Michigan. He's like, ceasefire now, because all they do is care for their political seat. They don't care about the people. All they want is their seat. That's all they want. They don't care about us. Biden needs to go. And we're really heartbroken, because when Trump was saying all that racist stuff, we went really hard for the Democratic Party to get them in there, because they promised us change. Where you have one guy that wanted to ban us, and the other guy that's slaughtering us. So what can we do? Where can we go? We can't go right. We can't go left. But we definitely know that we cannot vote for Biden, no matter what.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you look at, for instance, for people will argue about that the Democrats should always be in power because they're the better party. And when you what you just told me about how much you guys fought, which is such a big deal, because Dearborn, Michigan has like one of the largest Muslim populations in the United States, and their 100 votes were a pivotal role for Biden to even make it into the White House. And since he pissed off that demographic, you see that he's, well, like you said, juggling his line. He really doesn't care. Just like the Pentagon. The Pentagon and Biden, they do not care about Palestinian people. They care about how it looks. And that's all they care about.
When it comes down to black and brown people, we always have to fight a little bit extra, because they don't look at us. We're not privileged, that, if that happened to a different place, God forbid, or Ireland, I don't want to see nothing happen. Right. It would have been a different situation. But since, the majority of people are brown folks and Palestinians, it's just, there's no justice. It's just acceptable. And they're messing with the wrong generation. We're going to change it. We will change history without a doubt. And Biden, God willing, will not be the next president. I don't even care who's in the White House next. This might sound crazy, and I told some political folks that I sat with, they asked me, some hard-hitting Democrats within the Democratic Party, really heavy-hitting from Washington, D.C., why don't you do what you did before? And that's basically to go after Trump. I said, absolutely not. I would never, ever do that again for you. Guys. Why won't you go? Shoot, and I led the largest protest against him. And you know what? I'm not endorsing him. I'm not saying I'm liking him, but I'm saying I don't care if he's in office. I mean, I think, to be perfectly, I think they're just setting him up to himself with these charges and stuff like that. I'm not agreeing with his racism and all this stuff, but I'm thinking I think they were going after him too, and I'm just gonna leave it like that. I mean, I won't be voting for him, but I'm saying I'm not gonna be actively protesting against him. I would never do that for the Democratic Party again. And they even asked me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're looking at a leader that literally went to Israel before this happened, and said that he was a Zionist and promoted Zionism. You know, like he was automatically just the other side, and he fooled our people. And I totally agree with you on what you're saying about Trump. The sad part is that, you know, we're going to expect the same thing in a different fashion from him, and it's going to be a lot of these Democrats that are going to try to punish working class black and brown people because we're staying firm in our stance. You know what I mean? And we have
and the Democrats keep on telling me, oh, Trump's going to be run. To be honest, he's a businessman. I think he's going to stop the war, just like when he went in and he tried to, you know, Afghanistan, Iraq, and this and that. He don't care. He'll probably just go after one or a couple of those leaders like he did in Iran. And I'm not saying he's a good man or he's a bad man,
Yeah.
but you know, he didn't kill these people the way this slaughter machine Biden is doing.
Yeah.
Genocide Joe.
People have to see that. Speaking of the Middle East, I wanted to ask you, like, how do you feel about the complicity with Saudi Arabia, and also Jordan, when Iran attacked, and they was at their aid to get rid of those missiles and protect Israel. Is that a betrayal? Do you feel like?
Yeah, without a doubt, it doesn't surprise me. America's probably buzzing in their air. They're making deals. They're thinking about oil, but yeah, just let it be. I mean, Israel attacked Iran, the Abyssinian mountain. Let them go. They want to fight a military. They got a military. Let them go. One-on-one. Everyone stay out of it. Let them go.
Right. That's the way I'm thinking. I'm like, why y'all helping them? They cost us.
Yes. Military versus military. Everyone stay out of it. Then there'll be a different tune.
Right.
America stay out of it. Saudi stay. Everyone stay out. Let them go.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I mentioned earlier in another episode, I was like, so like that was a planned attack. Iran like coordinated with America saying this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna let them know that we can touch them if we feel like it. But what if they did not plan to tell them that they're going to retaliate? Would they have that same type of defense that they had in preparation? No, they wouldn't.
It's exactly what you said. You know, they just want to show face. The Iranian government wants to show face to their people, like,
right.
We're not tolerating this, but they all probably also don't want to like mass. They're not like the Israelis where they just want to slaughter people like that. So
right.
So yeah, they definitely gave them, like, if I come up to someone and say I'm going to punch you in the face tomorrow, you're going to be ready. You're going to be on point. All right, I'll be ready. So
right.
So of course they were ready.
Yeah, man. Also, I wanted to ask you about, movements here. There's a lot going on all around Connecticut, and I've seen you like pull up to everything, even beforehand, before any of this started. You're always there. You're always present. And I wanted to ask you about the Yale encampment. It's like what is your perspective on how everything went down there? The encampment's no more, unfortunately, but they were able to do a very, very good demonstration for commencement day. They definitely made noise for commencement day. How do you feel about that type of protest? And then if you could mention any other that are about to happen right now or still in the works that you know about.
Sure. So to me, these people are like heroes. This new generation, this new youth. I was out talk. Every time I used to talk, I don't know if you ever picked this up, I always had like Islamic gear or a scar or Palestinian. So I've been doing this for maybe 15 years, and now people are talking about Palestine. I remember one day I was on the New Haven Green, and I was just talking about hatred, and I brought up the Palestinians. This was like maybe a couple of years ago. And some people was like, yeah, especially the folks from New Haven. Like, no. But then there was one person who approached me, was like, yo, you're gonna get people upset and this and that, tone it down. Like, no, I'll never. Those people are some of the most oppressed people I've ever seen in my life. So back to your question regarding Yales, I'm so proud of those people. Just like all the New Haven folks, they became my lifelong friends, and all those folks will be my lifelong friends. They are straight up freedom fighters, and it's a new generation. Like where before I was like the speaker at every single event, but I'm seeing a new generations, and I almost could fall back, and I at meetings and stuff, I give guidance, I'll speak to the press, or whatever I could do, and it's like almost like a punt, like but I do know people miss me too, so I'm always there. I'll dedicate my life, body, and soul for the Palestinian people, even if it costs me my life. That's fine with me. When I'm in that grave, I want to look to God and know that I try to do whatever I could do to save those people.
Right. No, I really, really appreciate that, because like I think that these kids, this started with Colombia, but these kids are showing us the way, like you're saying, this new generation, they're showing us the way, just like how it was back in 1970s. How there was like with Kent University, for instance, where college students were killed from the demonstration by the National Guard of Ohio, and they were fighting against the Vietnam War, and then you see how that type of parallel is happening now. Thankfully, we don't have National Guard shooting kids, but they're shooting rubber bullets. They're beating up these kids, like all over. Have you seen any of the like the UCLA riot that happened? There was Representative Omar. She questioned one of the officials from UCLA, and one thing that was very shocking to me is that she said that the police was there, but they weren't told to go in and try to quell these Zionists from attacking them. They actually stood by and watched while these Zionists were attacking these peaceful protesters.
So I watched that, and I watched the police, and shame on them. It's no different than when we were out there for George Floyd.
Right.
And I think it's a race issue, because they're just attacking those people. Let me tell you something. If it was the Palestinian attacking the Israelis, oh my God, how that response from the police would have been.
Right.
Oh, unbelievable. But since the Israelis were attacking the Palestinians, it's just normal practice. They're probably, and I seen it in corrections. A lot of these white folks high-fiving each other, like, yeah, you see that? Yeah. Oh no. That's how they get down. They're dirty people, and we have to break that system. We got to continue hitting that streets. We got to continue speaking out. We got to continue filing lawsuits. As a matter of fact, I just filed one.
Oh,
yes.
You don't have to talk about it.
yeah. But just say I'm out there, and I challenge the status quo.
Right.
These are how we break these chains off our people.
I got one last question for you, brother. One last question, because I don't want to take up your time. I know you got family. I wanted to ask you, like, how were you able to just stay focused while you were as you were a CO, right?
So I was
get the job. Right?
I was a CO lieutenant, but then I became a captain.
How were you able to stay focused and advocating for what's right, and while balancing the justice system on one hand, and then also balancing like fuck this system I'm saying, on the other side? Like, how did you do that? I always want to ask you that question.
Sure. Yeah. So I think because of my faith, I'm so grounded. My faith. Imagine I had mad respect for them. I was the lead de-escalator for the whole state of Connecticut.
Wow.
Where they gave me people who were uncontrollable, where they could have like 500 to like 1,000 tickets, uncontrollable. But when they see me, they know me from the streets. They respect me. They see me pray in my office. They know I'm the real deal. I grew up in the hood. I understand the hood, and I never forget the hood. So
Mm.
they see the swag in me too. So, but then you had a lot of officers that wanted to like beat down on people. I became a supervisor, and I was like, "Hold up, you ain't doing this. You ain't punching that dude in the cup, you
Mm.
know." And if I had to put that pen to paper or pull you off someone, I'm gonna do it. And then, matter of fact, I already retired, and there was some three white boys in Garner. They were pounding on someone, and I got a hold of the video from one of the officers, and I got that out there. They got arrested. They
Mm.
got charged. Where they would have got away with that. I didn't allow them to get away with that. Whether I'm in corrections or out of corrections,
Right.
you know. And when they don't want to do anything, I get that out to the news. I got a lot of contacts out there.
Right.
So it was good. But you gotta, when I worked at Bridgeport, there was a lot of people that looked like me and you. And even a lot of white dudes had a lot of swag to them. They were cool. They already knew I don't get down like that. And nor did they really get down because they were from the community. They understand. They were just wanting a job, feed their families, you know. And I ain't gonna hold them to. I mean, they were really good people, you know, when I worked there. And I really cared for them, and they never really ever really treated anyone unjust that I even know about it because they came from the community. They come from Bridgeport. They come from New Haven. They understand. Where these other people that they don't come from our communities just want to just pound and beat us because they're racist as hell. And I said that clean. Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. And I feel like, when it gets down to the question, whenever people ask, why did you join the justice system? And the answer that you hear a lot is people saying that, oh, I joined because I wanted to change from within.
Yeah.
And out of everyone, I feel like you are the only one that I could give a reference of who changed from within, and then as soon as you retired, motherfuckers, they try to go back.
You're right. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And they end up, and people from inside that I touched their hearts, to be honest, it was me against the whole facility at one point at Garner. It was me against every single one in that.
Are you allowed to talk about this, by the way? I'm sorry. I don't want to.
I'm retired. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm retired. It's all documented, Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah. So anyways, I'll make a long story short. It was like me against the whole facility, But then they end up sending me to a minority facility, and I was fine, I was actually the most respected person in the place. No one gave me an issue. No one really cared that I was Muslim, but at the other place they did care, So that's why if I'm alone, I'll keep fighting. I don't care if it's one against hundreds and hundreds. I'll keep fighting. This is how we make change. These are how we break our chains. So to make it short and sweet, all those offenders that were inside the system would love people to work there that are like me. They would love that, so they could be treated like humans. I mean, you got to see the halfway house on that right now. These guys want to write reviews, for me. I mean, that's what they said. That they
I would love to definitely come by and break bread. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and you're always welcome. I had activists already come over there, and
Nice.
I already gave a buzzword to John Selden to come and talk to the guys, because I want them to leave and never ever return to that system again.
That's really dope, man. I tell you, so much. Like, I know about 4 people that was locked up and met you, and they told me straight up, and they're black like me, they look just like me, and they told me straight up like how much of a stand-up guy you are, and how you got them out of certain crazy situations and stuff like that. Like, they didn't want to go into detail on that, but it was like, yo, he was there.
I mean, sometimes you need someone, sometimes when someone escalates something, this and that, you just gotta take them down. You gotta listen to them. You gotta really care, and it's not like they know that I'm not pretending that I really care. Some people had some bad history. Some people didn't have, what I got a lot of people didn't have like a father figure, or they wanted to feed their families. Maybe that's why they sold their drugs or whatever. And maybe an officer was being disrespectful, or whatever he was. And and times they get it twisted too, and they know if they get it twisted, I'm gonna come see you.
Yeah.
I prefer not to. I prefer
Right.
not to. I
Right.
prefer to reason, talk to you, this and that. But if you're taking swings, we're gonna take you down. Every human has the right to defend themselves.
Yeah. Yo, to the Fahd brother, I want to thank you so much for your time, and also thank you so much for your support of my party, the Party for Socialism and Liberation. Thank you.
Without a doubt.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for that.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you and all the New Haven crew, and I respect you guys so much.
Yeah, so this is the part where I always ask my guests if they have any final words that they would like to share to my audience, any advice that you would like to give, especially for the young coming up activists that love to watch this show too.
Sure. So I would say this is you really have to fight for Palestine, because once Palestine gets free, we'll all be free. These people are some of the most oppressed people in the world. I know many of us, like me and you, we're allies of the Palestinian cause, but we got to continue to talk to people that are not allies or who don't know. Like, I would be in a gym and you would hear a person speak about the Palestine and Israel conflict, and they would say, like, could you believe like a child got killed? I said, could you believe there's probably 20,000 child kills? And I would show them social media, this and that. So it turned into where I was talking to one people, then I had a crowd of maybe 5 or 6 people. Those 5 or 6 people go and tell the other people. This is how we're gonna make change. We got to continue to speak out and not stop at all costs. Never stop speaking out and continue to fight for justice and continue to break these chains off us.
Thank you so much, Fahd. And then please enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy this beautiful weather out here. And I'd love to have you back on again later on down the line, brother.
All right. Peace, brother. Take care.
Blank period, yeah. On my black, brown, and indigenous. Gotta holler if you really feeling this. Gotta holler if you really real enough. Other rappers is delirious. Yeah, it's really that serious. Better holler if you really feeling me. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna live in abundance. I gotta keep it 100, ayy. If you don't like it, then fuck it, ayy. We gonna win in the end, yeah, we gonna. I gotta keep it 100. We gotta stop all the stunting. You know we coming from nothing. Yo, you talking about money, you bluffing. We gotta do something different. We gotta change how we live in. We gotta do better for women. We gotta do better for children. We gotta listen to victims, whether Jewish or Muslim or Christian. It doesn't matter your religion. You gotta stand against the system, or else you just another villain. How you just sitting there chilling?